Is the bottom in, or do we have further to drop? That is the major question that everyone's trying to find the answer for. Well, in today's video, we're going to go over the key things to look out for to know whether or not the bottom is actually in. Welcome to Precision Trading Academy. My name is RTBro. I'm one of the 6 traders who are here to help guide you through the markets. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So this is the overall chart for Bitcoin. I'm sure you guys are well aware of that. So in this video, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you all the major levels to watch out for in this chart. We're going to start with a brand new fresh chart, and I'm going to lay it out step by step so you guys know exactly what to look for. And we're going to give specific examples and situations and scenarios to know whether or not the bottom is in or not, right? That's what everyone's looking for. So let's go ahead and start with this. Actually, this is the first chart we're going to go over. This is the market cap BTC dominance, right? The Bitcoin dominance chart. And if you zoom way out, you can see we have some very key levels that we're coming into right now. This is a weekly breaker resistance or a support level, okay? Weekly breaker support level. You guys can see it was formed right here. We came up here, acted as a resistance. We have very strong wicks into it. We rejected down. Now we have busted above it, and now we're coming back in to retest it, okay? So this weekly breaker should act as a support level, right? Now, there's also a trend line over here. Although on the weekly, it doesn't look very clear. If you go to the 4-hour, you can see how this level is interacted with. You have a test right here, as well as a test right here. And if you go to the weekly, you can see how it's not touching or pretty far away. But if you go to the 4-hour, you can see we're right there, okay? So that means we are about to be testing this major level. Well, what does this mean? Well, this is the Bitcoin dominance. That means the higher up this number goes, the more market cap that Bitcoin has relative to the rest of the market. Well, if this is dropping, that means the money is moving into the altcoins, or that Bitcoin is losing money more aggressively than the alts. I'm sure we're pretty familiar with that. Once we lost 30,000, Bitcoin's been essentially in a free fall, right? Well, the alts have actually held up relatively well compared to Bitcoin. Now, I'm sure you're looking at your portfolio saying, wait, that's not possible, right? However, as while Bitcoin keeps dropping lower, you have coins like Doge and Solana and Cardano and Link and things like that who are actually making higher lows while Bitcoin keeps capitulating further and further down. Okay. But here's the important thing. Now that we're coming to this major support level, my assumption here is that things are about to change. That means that Bitcoin is going to hold up better than the rest of the altcoins. Okay. So, what does that mean? That means if the price starts dropping, I expect Bitcoin not to drop as hard, or inversely, we would expect the altcoins to get wrecked a lot harder. And if the market starts pumping, what's going to pump harder? Bitcoin's going to pump harder. So Bitcoin would pump harder, alts would dump harder. Okay. So because of that, right now, my current strategy is I am longing Bitcoin. Okay. I'm buying Bitcoin because I'm expecting it to pump harder. However, if a short opportunity arises, I'm shorting the altcoin market because I'm expecting them to get wrecked harder. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. Essentially, as long as this level's held right here, I do expect Bitcoin to start actually gaining strength relative to the rest of the market. Now, ultimately, where do we expect it to get to? There is a weekly breaker right here, okay, and it's a pretty important one. You guys can see how it was formed. It was back tested. It fell through. So this looks like a bearish retest of this, right? So as this comes back up here, Bitcoin should be gaining strength relative to the rest of the market. Now, whether or not this is going to be a some sort of a relief bounce from 17,000 up to like 30,000, right? That's possible. Or it may just be that alts just get slaughtered so badly that Bitcoin holds up relatively well, and essentially Bitcoin just basically bleeds up to the upside while alts just get absolutely wrecked. Okay. Those are both very likely possibilities if this is to play out. So just be aware right now, I think that Bitcoin is what to be looking for if you are trying to long the market or you're trying to buy and accumulate coins. Okay. That has not been the case for the last week, but we're getting to some major levels that I do expect to hold, at least in the short term, that are going to make Bitcoin outperform the rest of the altcoin market. Okay. Now, obviously, if we start losing this trend line, if we start breaking down below here, things could obviously change. However, as of right now, that's what's going on. Now, you can also go to the Bitcoin plus Ethereum dominance chart. And what this means, this is Bitcoin and Ethereum dominance combined into one chart. And as you guys can tell, we have this sort of a range established right here, right? And we bounce, we bounce, we bounce. However, last week, Bitcoin and Ethereum have been getting wrecked a lot harder than the rest of the market. And it looks like we're at the bottom of the range. So there's two ways of looking at this. This is still currently a support level. So maybe this is the area where we're going to get some major bounce on the Bitcoin and Ethereum relative to the rest of the market, or it collapses through, in which case Bitcoin and Ethereum underperform the rest of the market while our smaller cap altcoins are able to outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, so there's a few things to look out for, but these two charts are very important. Make sure you guys have these little marked, and make sure you guys are looking at these particular coins or these levels to know whether or not it's time to buy Bitcoin or time to play altcoins, right? And exactly what the relationship is. So as we're at support, or as Bitcoin is right, or as Bitcoin dominance is rising, you really want to be longing Bitcoin or buying Bitcoin. However, if it starts to drop further, you want to be playing the altcoin market instead, right? Okay, hope that all makes sense. Let's go ahead to the next one. The next one we're going to go over is going to be the DXY. Okay, DXY is the very important indicator. This is the dollar currency index. This essentially is an inverse chart of cryptocurrency. It's more of a leading indicator or a delayed indicator. That means it doesn't necessarily go at the exact same speed, but over the course of time, this is essentially an exact inverse chart of Bitcoin. That's basically what's been going on for the last few years. So as this number increases, Bitcoin drops. As it decreases, Bitcoin rises. Okay. So as you guys can see, we have been increasing, which means that Bitcoin has been just getting absolutely wrecked, like we've known for essentially the last almost last year, right? We know this. It's been getting really rough, and DXY has been an indicator showing us that this is we've been losing a lot of strength in Bitcoin by the DXY having additional strength. Well, what's going on in the lower time frame? Well, we do have this level right here that was formed, came up here, we rejected off of it, broke above, and now we're actually acting as a support level. Okay, so this 4-hour breaker seems to be a very key level. Is it a 4-hour or a daily? Daily level. This daily level seems to be a very important level that if we start breaking down below, this would be a very bullish indicator for crypto market. Okay, if DXY starts trading below this breaker, this would be a very bullish indicator for crypto. Okay, if you're going to get some sort of a relief bounce, this is essentially what you're looking for. You want to see something like this: breaks down below here, back up here, and continuation back down. Okay, this is essentially you're going to be your major relief bounce. If we're going to get a bounce up to the $30,000 region, this is how you're going to get it. Okay, now what is this big green block? This big green block is a monster. Okay, this is a monthly breaker that has been extremely powerful over the last couple years. Okay, it was formed back in 2017, and this is the block that was able to support the economy, like support everything during the COVID crash, right? The COVID crash happened right here. You guys see, we had a massive wick up. All hell was breaking loose. The whole economy was collapsing, everything else, right? But this monthly breaker was able to actually push it right back down, and we were able to find support on it so that we had our bull run over the last the last couple of years for cryptocurrency, right? Right here, this is the 2020, 2021 cryptocurrency bull run. This was because this monthly breaker was able to act as this major resistance level and support the price during that bull run. But now we're actually above it. And not only are we above it, we also bullishly retested it. That's a very, very bad sign. So if you want to talk about like really bad situation for crypto, this right here is the major, major, major one. Okay, this is the major elephant in the room. Okay, in one of my posts, I talked about it being like the elephant in the room with a flamethrower and razor sharp claws. This is a massive, massive, massive important level that if we're going to have any sort of sustained bull run for crypto and not just a relief bounce, we have got to get back below here. And this is not just for crypto, this is for traditional markets as well. This is such an important level. Okay. However, on the inverse side, you also have this level. This is a monthly resistance block that was formed way back here in 2003. Okay. For the first time since its creation, we actually have tested it. And as you guys can see, we bounced off of it almost perfectly. Okay. Perfect bounce, strong reaction. And this essentially is supporting the price for cryptocurrency in traditional markets as of right now. So at this time, we're basically bouncing between these two major monthly breakers, and we have a daily breaker right here in the middle that's giving us sort of like a middle ground for it, right? So we want to see, if you're bullish on crypto and you want it to be bullish, you want to see it start showing like this, and ultimately you want to see it bust below. There we go, bust below this level over here. However, if you are a perma bear and you want the whole market to collapse, you want to see the DXY get above this level, and this is going to be, the ultimate doomsday scenario of the stocks just completely collapsing, Bitcoin going down to, below 8,000, et cetera, right? You want triple digit, or if you want double digit Ethereum again, or you want triple digit Bitcoin or quadruple digit Bitcoin, this is what you are expecting. Okay, you want to see it drop up here, and then you're going to get some really, really, really bearish things that happen in the market. Okay, is it possible? Absolutely, but one step at a time. Now, something else to take notice of, this breaker over here, okay, when was it formed? This was formed back in 2002. Crypto has only been around since here, 2008. That means this is the highest DXY has ever been since crypto's inception. Okay, so this is essentially uncharted territory. We've never been at this level on DXY, which is why a lot of people, to include myself, are really having. It's a very unique situation where we're at right now. And we really want to see some buy pressure come up, because if we do start bumping up above here, it could get really, really bad for crypto markets. It really, really could. Not just crypto, but also traditional markets as well. So, like over here, .com crash, right? Everything else. It just gets really bad, guys. If you want the economy to still be functional and everything else, to still have a bull run in crypto, you want to see this level act as a resistance and not break above it. All right. So now I told you guys we talk about this chart. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Actually, it looks like we are breaking down a little bit on crypto, which, all right, too easy, right? So this is Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and talk about the major, major levels on this chart. Okay. Now, the first thing that we're going to draw out is going to be the Fibonacci retracement. Okay. Fibonacci retracement, the entire structure is right here. All right. So immediately you guys can tell we have problems, because a healthy retracement shouldn't go past the 618. Okay. 618 to 702. This right here is the golden pocket. As you guys can tell, we are now below it. That's not good. That's not good at all. So we found support on it for a while, but we have fallen through. That's a very, very bearish sign in the market. And if you expect any sort of a continuation to go back to 70,000 plus, you have got to reclaim that golden pocket in a hurry, guys. Very, very important. Okay. So that does not look good. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about, let's go over here actually. I'm sure you guys have already heard of it, but I'm going to go ahead and bring it up again. Moving average. Let's change this indicator up. 200 moving average weekly, right? I'm sure you guys have heard this. Oh, let's go back to another one. No. Bitfinex. I think the Bitfinex has been around a while. Perfect. Okay, Bitfinex has been around long enough to know. This is the 200 weekly moving average. The 200 weekly moving average is a very, very important level that has acted as a major support and the support for the major bottoms during any sort of major capitulation. Okay, you had it back here in 2017. It came back down, almost retested again. That was the bottom back in 2017, 2018. Over here during the COVID crash. Now, this is really interesting to see. It came down here. We actually closed underneath it, but we recovered it the very next week. So anyone who says if we lose it this week, if we don't close it by tomorrow evening, then the whole market's screwed. Not necessarily, because we actually have a situation back during the COVID crash where we did actually close beneath it, but the very next week we're able to get back above it. So does not necessarily mean the market's done if we do not reclaim it by tomorrow. But if you go back over here, you guys can see we are nowhere near it right now, guys. Nowhere near it. It is currently at around 22,200-ish, 300. And we're way down here. We have $4,000 in between. That's a 20% movement to get back up there. That's a lot, okay? So we have a lot of room to get. And essentially, if you want to talk about you have to close it above it this week, you only have 24 hours to get back 20%. Probably not going to happen. Possible. Probably not going to happen, right? However, if you want to mimic what happened in the COVID crash, that means we have essentially 7 days from now, 7, 8 days to get back above in the second week. If we don't do that, that will be a new paradigm in crypto. We've never fallen this far and busted back below the 200 weekly moving average. Is that significant? I don't know, right? I think it personally is. I think it's very important. And I think this being confirmed as a resistance would be a very, very unhealthy thing for crypto. But we'll see what happens, right? All right. So back over here, we're back on the Binance chart. You have the golden pocket right here, 200 weekly right here. These two levels are now going to act as very, very strong resistance levels. So if you are expecting us to pump back up to 30,000 plus, you have a lot of work to do, okay? Now, the next thing to go over is going to be this right here. This is a parallel channel. Let me go ahead and fix that real quick. Not perfect. Let me fix it. Okay. This parallel channel is what supported the price up this entire time during the bull run, right? This parallel channel was very significant. Whenever we broke down from here at 34,000, this was the level where everyone became super bearish, to include myself, right? Because if we were healthy, this should not have happened. Well, if we're able to get above the 200 weekly moving average, if we're able to get above the golden pocket, if we're able to get above all of that, the next biggest contender is right here. This is going to be a major resistance point. So getting up to around 38 to 40,000 is, in my opinion, the absolute high side that we could have any sort of relief bounce before something a lot more serious happens. All right, like if we get back inside this channel, I think there's a legitimate chance this whole thing was a massive fake out. But up here is still within the realm of possibility without actually being a bull run continuation. All this would be a really strong relief bounce before a continuation back down, or at least some sort of like a sideways movement or something like that, right? Either way, those are our three absolutely massive levels that we have got to get back above before we can have any sort of talk about a continuation of the bull run. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is right here. This is the 2017 high on Bitcoin. As you guys can see, we've also fallen beneath that. Not a good sign. So now we have four major things that are all holding the price down, which is why legitimately this is a very terrifying chart and not one that looks very optimistic. So yeah, right now we're beneath the high of 2017. We're beneath the weekly 200 moving average. We're beneath the golden pocket. We're also beneath this rising channel. So lots of really bearish things happening, okay? Good news is now we have a range that we can now work with, okay? So essentially we know high side is basically capped, but we now have a range in here which we can absolutely be playing inside of. All right. So, where are the key levels that we're looking for? Well, the first one's right here. We're on the weekly chart right now. We have these two weekly levels, 1 and 2. These two levels are still very significant. And no, we have not closed beneath either of them yet. So they're still technically acting as a support level. If we close underneath here, but we actually are able to hold here, we have a range that we can play in between here. It's not a very large range, but we do have a range that we can play. Okay. And essentially, we're going to bounce between these two levels until we do finally pick a direction. And as we know with ranges, these things can play out for a long time, right? This absolutely is a possibility. If you guys remember this crazy range that we had up here. Not the right. Yeah, right here. Remember this? It's crazy range, how we bounced between here for so long. Okay, same sort of situation can happen between that tight range between 17,000 and 19,000. Okay, this is absolutely a possibility of where we can just bounce between here as well. So be aware, this is a possibility if we close underneath this one, but we close above here tomorrow at for the daily close or the weekly close. Now, if we do lose both of these levels, okay, where are we going to go to next? The next key level is right here. And this, I think, is a very significant one. I think this legitimately could be the bottoming structure, okay? This is a major, major support level, and we know it's a very major support level because of this reason. This breaker was formed. It was actually retested right here on the very next week. Come back up here. We retested it again. This acted as a major resistance and stopping point for this this pump that we had back in 2019. We broke above it. And then, this is so important, we came back down and we retested it, confirming it as a major support level. So this level right here is a major support. And I do expect if we do drop much further down in here, this level to act as a major level of support. And I legitimately think this is probably the most likely area for a bottom to form. Okay. Now, if a capitulation happens, I would not be surprised for us to overshoot this. But ultimately, I do expect this area to be the area that the bottom will reside in by the end of the week. Okay. If we do have some sort of a capitulation, this is essentially where I think the range will be formed inside of there. Okay. Now, on a lower level, we have even a more precision entry. Okay. There's precision level that I'm looking at as well that I think is a pretty high likelihood of being the key level to look out for. If we can get this right there, this daily block between 14.3 and 14.9, this is my like sweet spot inside of this major range that I think we have significant chance of holding on to. Okay. The reason why I say that is because of this retest right here. It was formed, come back down, it retests it for a continuation back down. So that means that this level is a very, very significant resistance back in the day. And now it should act as a very significant support, just like it was right here, for a continuation back up. So we retested this as a major support level on this downtrend. Okay, just like this major weekly level was tested from the top side on this candle. Okay, so this level right here, I think, makes a ton of sense for a legitimate bottoming level. So personally, I will start to DCA in this region. Now, I don't have blind bids in here, but I am going to be looking for a long opportunity in this region. Okay. Let's see what else. Now, if we do lose that, where are we going to go? Oh man, guys, it gets really, really tough at that point. I think the best likelihood, if we are to lose that level, is right here. Okay, right here. This is our next support. You guys can see how it acts as a resistance, 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 broke above. This right here is like the last spot. If we're able to come down here to 11.9 to 11.5, considered an absolute gift. And if we fall beneath there, it's going to get really, really ugly. Now, I do remember that 8,000 was a very important level during the bull run back here. So it's also possible that we do come back down here and retest this cluster down here, but I don't think that's very likely, okay? This right here, I think is extremely likely to get tested, and I think it's going to be the major support level. If we fall beneath there, this level is, I think, a gift possible, but I don't think it's very likely to happen. And this one right here, I think is very unlikely and is probably the last chance before an total and utter collapse of the market. Okay, anything lower than that, I don't think I'd be comfortable buying at all. Make that very clear. Okay. So yeah, these are our primary levels, guys. Like these are the levels I want you guys to really have annotated in your chart, because I think these all make a ton of sense for major levels to look out for. Now, let's see. I do want to check out one thing. I'm not entirely sure where it's at, but I know it's going to be around this area. There is going to be the 786 retracement zone near our current price level. You see where it's at exactly. Yep, right here. So this is the 786. As you guys can see, that's also basically right below where we bounced off of today. So this also could act as a support level even for a temporary bounce. So the 786 is generally a fairly strong support, not nearly as strong as a 618 or 702, but it is another level that to be looking out for possible bounces. All right. So I know it looks very cluttered on the high time frame. If you start zooming in, you guys can see how these levels make it a lot clearer, and we are getting some strong interaction off of these key levels. Okay. You guys can see all the interactions we're getting off these key levels. So very, very, very important. Now, let's see, what else? All right, so all of that, I hope it makes sense. So the next thing I want to talk about is a capitulation, okay? Let's talk about what that actually means and how that's going to play out, okay, if it does play out. So there's an argument to be made that we've already had the capitulation. I'm not in that camp. I don't think we have. I think we do have further to drop. And let's go back in time and look at what a capitulation actually looks like, okay? We're going to go back, and we're going to look at the COVID crash. And this is the one that I remember really, really closely. Okay, this is the one that I was a part of, and I remember how bad it was. I remember this day. I remember exactly where I was at. This was really, really bad. Okay, and although we have had this sort of a movement where just constantly just keeps dropping and dropping, very small, shallow retracements, right? We haven't had this yet. Okay, we haven't had this. And you're like, what? But we dropped 10% today. Okay, let me explain this to you. On this drop, this one drop was a 52% decrease in price on one drop in the span of like 24 hours. No, we have not seen that. Okay, this is absolutely possible from our current levels. And let's look at that 52% from our current levels. Hypothetically, if it does happen, where does that bring us down to? Let's just look at that. Let's see where we're at. We're 52% from our current levels. Let's go here. Let's drag it down. 52%, right down here to $8,000. If we were to drop from here, we would essentially drop down to $8,000, which is essentially our last chance support for the entire market. Okay. Is it possible? Yes, this is not out of the realm of possibility. Okay. Now, once we did actually get that capitulation, was there some major bounce where everyone knew it was over and we all just moved on, and it was just like like the market was done, right? And a lot of people talk about how if we do get that capitulation, everyone's going to know and they're going to be all happy because now the market can only go up and everything else, right? I hear that all the time, and it just doesn't work like that, guys. Look at what happened after this capitulation, okay? Everyone talks about having a V-shaped reversal bottom, right? And it's just like the thing. You're expecting it. You have this massive drop, but then you have this massive V, and then the market just goes up forever, right? All right, let's look at what actually happened on the low time frame. We dropped, we dropped, we dropped. We just kept dropping, okay? We did have a short-term bounce, high volume. Yes, I agree. But was it a V-shaped bottom? No, it was not. What actually ended up happening? What does this look like to you guys? Does this not look like a bear flag? Yeah, it does. Okay. This entire period of time, and look how extended it was. It did not reclaim the start of that last drop. Okay. This is the last drop, the 52%, last drop. It did not reclaim that level for 48 days. 48 days, guys. I remember this. This was the longest 48 days you could possibly imagine. This entire time, we all expected it to be just the first leg of the continuation back down to 1800. Okay. So don't think that once this thing just drops, you're going to be out here just catching because it's going to go, it's going to go to the moon immediately. It's going to be a V-shaped reversal and it's going to go up forever. No, that's not how these things operate. Okay. It's going to be a drop. You're going to have an initial spike back up, a short squeeze to eliminate all the shorts. And then you go sideways. Okay. Sideways, 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 sideways. This is an accumulation range where you can start, getting into positions slowly but surely, right? You'll have a markup, accumulation, markup, accumulation, 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 right? And eventually, of a markup, you get back above that level. And look, now you're in the clear. You continue going back up. But it's not like it just happens overnight. This will take a very long time to play out if it actually is a true capitulation. So don't overrush yourself. Don't be setting these spot buys out there at levels that you think make sense, right? Because like I showed you guys, if you're looking for 13,000, it very easily could drop all the way down to 8,000. That's not unrealistic for these sort of drops, okay? And just make sure you guys are aware of what these things actually look like. The V-shaped reversals are actually very rare. Generally, it looks something like this. It has to work its way out over a long period of time where everyone just assumes it's going to be a bear flag that's going to eventually make another leg down. Okay. Now, other things I'm looking for. So, if you guys are a part of the Discord, I hope you guys are. We have a really, really great team of traders in there. We really do try to help people out. This is a macro update of the overall market, but myself and a few other traders in there, we actually post our trades all the time, talking about shorts and long positions. So, basically, if you were to look for some sort of a long position at this point, right? So basically, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for shows of strength, right? If we can reclaim this 20,000 region, okay, then obviously that'd be a good long opportunity that we can target where? Around 23, right? And this could be a good long opportunity right here. Something like that. Okay, set your risk reward correctly, and that could be a really good long opportunity. A 6R trade, somewhere like that, right? Now on the same note, you can also do something like this, right? Where you're going up, 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 up. We sweep it, go back below it. Now you start showing some bearish market structure, and now you can go ahead and enter to a short position. Oops, wrong one. Where you can target something like there, like this. If I can get it up here, right? There you go. Maybe you're going to target way down here at the $16,000 region, and your risk reward is something like this, right? These are some things that we go over and we post all the time in our Discord. So make sure you guys are a part of, we really do try to help you guys out, and it's just a really, really good opportunity. So make sure to check it out. The description's in the link is in the description. I hope this video makes a lot of sense. I hope that now you guys have a better understanding of what to expect. All right. Now, there's a lot of fundamental things that are also going on in the market, a lot of news-based things are going on in the market. Personally, I don't talk about that. However, Captain Ace and Cryptstock, they're very, very big on the market, and they go over all the different underlying things that are happening in the macroeconomics and yada yada yada, things that I don't really focus on, but they are absolute experts at what they do, and they can really give you guys the guidance and help you and make sure you guys are on the right track and don't get caught off guard by this market. So, um, outside of that, make sure to check out the Discord, guys. It's a really, really, really great opportunity. If you want full access to everything as a Patreon, it's not much at all compared to the quality you guys get. But outside of that, I'll let you guys go. None of this is financial advice. It's just my opinions, and I'm just trying to give you guys the information that I am personally doing. So I'll let you guys go. Have a good one. Deuces, boys. I'm out.